I always love watching that video. If you weren't ready for a webinar, you are now. That's what I always feel like.
Yeah.
So, welcome to Built to Scale. This is a live conversation webinar with the Iris leadership team. I'm Krista. I'm the founder and CEO of Iris Partnering. And today we are going to be talking about one of the hardest shifts founders face as their businesses grow. And boy, does it feel close and near and dear today because we are in the thick of it at Iris Partnering. So we're going to be speaking from the heart today. So I think what most people assume with small business ownership or medium business, whenever you start a business, when you become an entrepreneur and decide to take that leap of faith, that the challenge is getting started. And there is, in a sense, I feel like, because you're like, what do we do first? What do we do next? How do I build a business? Where are all my clients and customers? Building momentum, delivering the work, but that is difficult. I mean, I remember the day 3 years ago calling Destiny, ironically, up and was like, I have this crazy idea, and can we do this? Can we make this happen? And it
Yes, of
was
course.
difficult. It was difficult. And it was, I mean, like, how do you register an LLC and when do you become an S Corp? You know, like all of those facets of starting a business are hard. But what nobody prepares you for is when your business actually starts to do what you want it to do. Like that vision that you had of it's working and it's growing and people want what I sell. And then you're like, oh, now the real work begins. And that's what we're going to talk about today is when your business actually starts doing what you started the business to do. It's growing. And what happens with leadership then, and how does your role change? Because it's not so much at that point about you doing the work, it's about you leading the work. And I'm really glad that Stephanie, Jen, and Destiny are all on with us today because as the three people that work with me every hour of the day, they can probably speak with the most authenticity of like, yeah, Krista does this well, and Krista does not do this well, which, like, please, by all means, call me out on it. But ultimately, I think, you know, even we're feeling it today. I'm feeling it today. I'm feeling it this week heavily. If you guys don't, well, why would you know? We brought on 4 new team members this week because we have had a rapid growth stage. And in full transparency, Iris had a rapid growth stage early years, like within our first year. I think it was just like a go to market rapid growth at that point. And we learned a lot at that rapid growth stage of like, these people are good fits for our team and these people aren't, and these clients are good fits for our team and these people aren't. And we really evolved as a business in year 2 of like, what are we targeting and what do we want the growth to look like? What are our goals? What's the strategy here? I mean, it was a completely different shift. And then, you know, now we're halfway into year 3. And after re-strategizing, I mean, I remember like January 1 telling you guys, this is going to be it. We're growing this year because we know what we're doing and like, we're ready. So let's go. Like,
we've learned a lot of lessons. Let's grow.
Yeah, it was time. It was time. And so we brought on 4 new team members because like the referrals and the growth have come. It came to fruition just like we said. And I think what I'm feeling right now, which I think is what a lot of founders and leaders start to feel when they hit this spot in their business, is now I'm the bottleneck and I'm the problem. And how do I make the shift away from doing into leading and making sure it's still being done the way I want it to be done for the end user. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today.
I think that's the hard part too. Like, you know, bringing that up, so many founders, you know, and I know we're feeling that pressure huge. We all are, but especially with you, like, I mean, this is your baby. This is exactly what you say to other people. Like, this is, you know, it's another kid in your family that, you know, I want to make sure that this is growing right, that it's getting fed properly, that it's getting everything that it needs. And as a founder, you know, that's where you're at. You're like, okay, wait, something's not happening here, but I'm getting pulled in this direction. I need to make sure that this is still okay. And then you're up until 2 o'clock in the morning because you're trying to figure everything out. So Krista's definitely there.
Definitely there. Yeah. So, I mean, for the most part of Iris, like what we call at Iris, and I think it's a term that Stephanie coined actually, and it might be a term that lives all around, and I'm just not aware of it, but it's like proximity based leadership, which is what normally I would say years 1 through 3, most businesses are working through proximity based leadership, which means the owner, the founder, and the leader of the business is right there at your beck and call as soon as you need them. Um, and they're probably executing a lot of the work. Like I know plenty of founders that are on the sales floor of the boutique with their team members, or they are out at the construction site and making the quotes to everybody that's coming to them. They are running the sales calls, and it's heavily on their shoulders, the success of the business. And then the business starts to shift where it's like there is physically not enough time in the day. In Iris world, what that has meant is like, yes, I have been doing these sales calls. I've been leading team members to a point. Like Destiny certainly helps me with the leadership side, and then the leading team member side. And then and I also work my own clients. Like I've got a client list that I work and I help them with their businesses too. And so this week, before this week, really, we started to feel that shift of like, there's more demand from Iris alone that's requiring Krista's attention. And how do we start to shift that? Yeah, because I'm sure there's exact moments that you guys can point out where it's like, I'm waiting on a decision from Krista and I can't do anything until I hear back from her. Like I'm the bottleneck, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think too with, doing, especially like with this hiring this last time, like normally I'm the one who would have the like initial interview, that type of thing that we've done. But this past one, you had to do that because it was just, I physically didn't have the time because of the client list that I have on top of it. And we had to get people quickly. So then of course you're taking that extra on and then you're like, okay, wait, but I need you to email them. I need this onboarding. I need this. And then I'm like, wait, are we hiring? Yes or no? Are we? So then I'm waiting to like send the email or like
strategy.
Yeah. So, it's, it is that pause, but then it was like, you get stuck, then I shouldn't say stuck. That's not the right term, but like, then you get put on with even more tasks because now the rest of our team is feeling stretched and we have to hire because we have to get more people on the team. But then again, it falls back on you.
Yeah.
So it's like, you don't have enough time.
We felt a similar pull multiple times in Iris before. I mean, and I'm equating Iris because we're knee deep in it, but this happens across every business, and it's partially why Iris exists in the first place. But like I remember around our 1 year anniversary, like I had been doing the marketing at that point, and like full transparency, my clients know this. I hate marketing. Like I feel really good at managing marketing.
Yeah, she's so good at it. She hates it. She hates it. We know.
It's those things that it does not light me up to execute the marketing. I'll happily be like, this is what I want it to sound like and feel like, and I know what I want people to experience, but I don't want to execute on it, which is when we had Stephanie step into the marketing manager role. And then, so like that alleviated that shift. And there was a period of time, I remember that period of time where it was like learning how to transfer my trust from like what was in my head onto Stephanie. And then similarly, I think it was about 6 months ago, like Stephanie's capacity was getting tapped out and we had more needs on the Iris side, like ready to rebrand, ready to launch a new website, ready to think about paid marketing, ready to lead into campaigns for email marketing. And it was too much work for one person along the other clients that she works. And that's like partially why all 4 of us are even here at Iris, is because we enjoy working clients and we don't want to give that up, even though we're leadership at Iris. So that's when Jen was promoted, like bringing in her skill set. And that was another transition 6 months ago of making sure that you knew the process and the expectations. And it was something that wasn't on my brain anymore because I transferred the knowledge and the trust to a person who frankly is far better at it than I am, which should be the goal of like,
yeah,
give the responsibilities that you don't have time for or don't want to execute to people that are better at it than you.
Yeah.
And I think what we're feeling now is almost similar in that sense because it's on the operation side, and like Destiny has been here and helping from the people management side, and like even her capacity is withering away for Iris because like the bookkeeping needs are growing, and the sales needs are growing, and the follow-up process and check-in process with our clients is growing. And so everybody's responsibilities are evolving and growing, and we have to start shifting and figuring out who owns what again, you know? And this is, you know, one thing I think that's been hard for me, I mean, transparently hard for me as a business owner is like there are ebbs and flows to a business. And I remember about 2 months ago, somebody saying to me, you know it's going to happen, so why do you keep letting it rattle you so much? Whether it's sales-based, whether it's people management-based, whether it's, I know that we have to make a shift in our strategy again. And it's like business owners have to come with this mindset of, the way I phrase it is like, I got to take it on the chin, almost like a punch to the face, you know, because no matter what, however many times I keep taking it on the chin, you got to keep moving forward because this is what you asked for, you know, this is what you wanted and this is what you envisioned and dreamed of. So,
and then you can keep adjusting, but that's why you also can rely on, you know, your goal is then to also rely on who you've put in place for a reason. So that, you know, when you are taking that, then you're like, okay, wait, who can I need to call them really quick because then is this something that we need to redo and I need help pushing it? Or, you know, it does fall on the founder owner, usually 99% of the time. And then that's obviously your goal is to get somebody to help push you along that way. Like I always said when Iris started, I mean, look at our phone calls now. Okay, it's a little different now. Yes, we are staying up later again. But in the beginning, we were up every night, way past midnight, on video calls consistently in the beginning. Like it was nonstop every night. And then it tapered off and we, you know, and then now we're seeing this growth again where here we are every night messaging each other. And it's way past, you know, bedtimes, but you know, that's what we do. It's, you know, and yes, it is super hard. And then having to shift again to think about now our team growing and shifting again. And then now I'm going to call you out a little bit on not spiraling out of control and knowing that we've been here before. It's another shift and we're gonna get through this, girl. I promise.
Yeah. And I think that's what we're talking about because like when you're owning and running a business, you're going to consistently come to this place. In the first place you're going to feel is there's not enough time in the day and you need people, right? Like, so you know, there's this invisible badge of honor that I feel like a lot of specifically small business owners wear where they're like, I'm a solopreneur and I'm doing it all by myself and I can. Maybe you can, but I mean, even what we're talking about, like staying up past those sleeping hours, you know, you're going to burn out. And I feel like there should be a higher level of pride to strategically hiring a team, whether that's 1099 or W-2, but I'm a firm believer that step one is hire people. You need to hire people that, again, are hopefully better than you at what you are hiring them to do. Because when you have people around you that have a higher skill set in what the business needs to accomplish, it's going to help, A, them feel fulfilled, but B, the business lead to the trajectory you want it to go to, right? So the first encouragement I would make to any small business owner feeling this way is like, let go of this invisible badge of honor that you're doing it all by yourself, because that's not a badge of honor to constantly wear yourself out. And normally that's when I'm seeing, you know, there's like this statistic, and I'm not going to know the exact number, but there's a statistic that like most businesses don't survive the first 5 years. And it's because business owners, I've seen business owners I've connected with post an update where they're like, this is what's best for me, this is what's best for my family. And maybe that's the case, but I think there's also a case to be said that's like, if you hired people to support you in the endeavor of your business getting to where you want to go, that there's more pride to be had in having that team and a solid team of retention too. And it's cyclical. I think we're going to keep feeling this as businesses grow. You have to keep re-strategizing. And that means as a founder, you're going to continue every time that happens to have your fingers in it less and less and less and less and less and less and less. And that's uncomfortable.
And I think that's the difficult part, because on the process of hiring people to help you out, you need to learn how to trust them in their task. And I think, yes, I'm going to do another call out. Krista, it's great at giving you the task that you need to do and explaining what she wants you to do with those tasks. Very, very detailed. But I think she still has this, I need to check over it, and I need to oversee it, and I need to see everything before it goes out. And that is hard to let go for any founder, CEO, any business owner. It is very hard to let go of that part. And it doesn't happen on one day, 24 hours. Oh, I hire somebody, I'm done. No, it's going to happen over time.
Mm-hmm. And it's building that trust, because it is. Because I will say, like, now in the beginning, it was like, hey, I need your help on, X, Y, Z. And then she's like, perfect, boom, boom, boom. And now it's like, okay, is it done? Yes. Okay. And I know that I was bad at, like, now she just knows, okay, was this taken care of? And I did it. But that's been over years of doing that. Because in the beginning, it's kind of like, oh, was that done? Oh, yes. Yeah. Just make sure, check it or whatever. And like making sure you're checking off the task. But I do think that in the beginning, especially as you're growing, it's just kind of making sure, like, again, that momentum is going, you're keeping things in line, and they're still doing what you hoped they would do. And like making sure that doesn't fall off, because people are people and people will people.
People are the
quality control.
Yeah, people are what's the word you use, Crystal? That's like people are the
I'm gonna blank on it, but they're of course they're the one asset that like is the least controllable in business. Like it's not like projections and forecasting with bookkeeping numbers. Like where you've got history you can fall back on. Like people are always going to be the one thing that you have to manage the most in some sense, and you also have to recognize that they're humans. All of us are humans, which means they're fallible. There's going to be mistakes and there are learning curves to be done. So, but I think like you guys are talking a lot about where we were and probably a little bit where we are right now, actually, ironically, but what we have achieved coming out the other side of that, historically speaking, is because we put processes in place, and it's, building trust is important for sure. Everybody on the screen has been working together for over a year, if not almost 2 years at this point. And so, yeah, we've built a level of trust and communication standards up with each other, but we also put processes in place. Like when it was time to hand over marketing, okay, what did we need to put in place? Like we put an Airtable in place. And now Stephanie knows, like, X day, and X day of the week, we have social media posts going out, and I'm going to run a campaign around it. And we do webinars every third Thursday of the month. And we do our newsletters every first Thursday of the month. And we do 2 blogs a month. Like she knows this is exactly what I'm responsible for. I'm organizing it in Airtable. And then me as the founder, like if I ever have questions, I can absolutely hop in Airtable and see what the plan is then, rather than having to stop Stephanie and her work or having to have her come and touch me every single day, ask what's the plan going to be. It's not in my decisions anymore. It's not my responsibility to decide that at this point. And same with Jen, like when, we're actually, shameless plug, we're getting ready to launch our new website this week. And as she's been building we've come together and said, we need these pages. Our brand kit exists. She knows because of purely working for Iris, what we need the user to experience through that website. So like, that's something she owns, and she will tell me when she's ready for me to look at it or when she needs me, you know, but it took time and processes to get to that point. And I think that's one thing that there's very little room with most founders, like their patience, to let those processes be developed and work together, because it's going to look different for every business, and it's going to look different for every team member, because every team member has strengths and opportunities. So what your real job is as a founder at that point is to know what process you're comfortable with and how you can oversee without being in it and micromanaging it every single day. And then what the next process is. And when the next process is, how do I step away from this even more and give them more trust, where I continue to have to oversee this less and less and less, right? Because, like, let's be honest, you know, some business founders might not agree with me on this, but everything you delegate in a business, nothing is going to make the entire business crash and burn. Nothing, you know, like, is marketing important? It's absolutely important. It's like a very important piece of businesses succeeding. But is one social media post going to break your marketing and going to break, you know, if a sale is going to go through? The answer is no, it's not, you know, or if like one consultation doesn't go the script perfect way that you would have done it as a founder, is that going to break the business? No. And if it does, it probably wasn't the right sale for you. You know, like, these are the start of comfortability that founders have to start understanding, because you cannot do it all by yourself. There are reasons that corporations don't just have one person overseeing marketing. They have a team of marketing people. Yeah. They have a team of project management people. They have a team of executive assistants. Like, even the services we offer at Iris, it's normally one person helping small business owners do this, while corporations who are growing every year, they have teams of people doing it.
With multiple managers.
Right, exactly. There's an entire hierarchy built for those companies, you know? And so, ultimately, to scale and not burn out, finding the process and visibility stage that you're going to be comfortable with and help the business move forward, and it alleviates your mindset. And I will say, like, one of the best processes you can figure out is, what's the communication standard? How frequently should you be bothered, or should you not be bothered? And like, your team needs to know that you trust them enough to manage that level of communication and that level of responsibility as well.
Yeah,
that's true.
And I mean, it is hard, because like, even on, you know, terms with like people, it's like, you are also like, for us, in an example, we're all in a remote work environment. So it's, hey, I need to get this, and I'm like slacking you or something, but it's like, you don't know what that person is doing at home at that moment, you know, type of thing. So it's like one of those, like, I always feel like we're in this limbo sometimes of, wait, but I need you now. What do I do? And then, but really, in reality, it's kind of like, that 10 minutes isn't going to hurt me. So that's where I still have to like remember that sometimes. And I find myself doing that. And then, I mean, I message Krista, and she's, you know, available 24/7. So I don't have to worry about that most of the time with her. But for other people, I do.
Yeah, we can go talk to my therapist about my overachievement problems. So.
What are you talking about? No.
You're not overachieving. You're not achieving.
Yep. First, you're last.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And if you have that mindset, you know, fair. Like Destiny said, there is a level of ownership that comes with owning a business that, like, trust me, I know all three of you love Iris and are so dedicated to Iris. There is zero question in my mind about that. But I also know that there's never anybody that's going to hold the same amount of like responsibility, I guess is the right word, on their shoulders when they're the owner. And that doesn't mean that you should carry it all yourself. You know, it's finding who you can trust and who can become your right-hand partner, and who you can delegate down to. And I think that a common misconception here is like, well, if I step into leadership, I have less work to do. And then what am I going to do with my time? You know?
That's so false.
Yeah, right? I know. And it's, you know, as a business owner, I think that people think I should be working over 40 hours, and like, you don't have to. It's okay to run a business and still work 40-hour work weeks. And leadership work looks very different than tactical work, you know, which is the work your team members are doing. Because when you're doing tactical work, it's check, 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 check. And a lot of business owners like myself are type A, probably OCD, maybe a little ADHD, a little. Yeah, keep going with the neurodivergent. Yeah.
Founders and business owners and entrepreneurs all fall under those categories.
Yeah.
I just really think that that's
like such a unique blend.
But
such a unique blend, because like we want to do it all really well, but like also our brains are like bing, 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 you know. So
true.
I think there's this shift of like, I'm used to executing, which allows me to check things off the list, which makes the type A side of me feel really fulfilled, you know? And when I'm leading our team at Iris, I'm not checking things off a list. A lot of it is, at least right now for where our business is, that is assessments, like constant assessments of where our team is, where their strengths and opportunities are, advising them on next steps and how to grow and make sure their client list, you know, first of all is retained, but second of all is feeling really successful with them, you know. And then also the next level, like your brain as a business owner is constantly running about what's next. Actually, fun fact, Destiny and I were on a phone call right before we went live, and I was like, I can't believe we've got a webinar to do today. Like, this week of all weeks, we have a webinar. And she goes, whose idea was it, Krista? I'm like, that was me. It was my idea.
You know, third Thursday comes up real quick
Every month.
Yep.
Somehow our webinar with Tori felt so long ago, but also yesterday.
Yeah. I was literally just looking and like counting, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it was. But I feel like we just did this.
Yeah. You know, when you're in the weeds like this, like the moment that we are in at Iris, where it's like, it is so busy, we're having to re-strategize and find the footing again, expected with growth. Like, go ahead. If you set yourself and your business up to grow for a quarter, for a year, for a season, whatever it is, you might as well expect that you're going to feel this way at some point. And then you're going to come out the other side. You're going to come out the other side of everybody's feet are under them and they are feeling really successful in their roles. They are really successful in their roles. What's next? And what I'm going to say is that, like, as moving into a leadership position, you should be thinking about what's next right now when it feels tough. Because if you wait until it doesn't feel tough, you're going to feel behind, and your pipeline of growing the business and achieving of where you want to be, let's say by the end of the year or by the end of the summer, right? It might not actualize because you slowed down before you sped up. Sometimes you have to, but other times I would be telling, this is the CEO's job. This is the founder's job, the business owner's job, of constantly strategizing where you want the business to go next. Sometimes that decision is, I want to just sit here for a bit and like figure stuff out. I think we made that decision collectively last year. Like, we were like, this is a strategy year, you know? But right now we said for Iris, 2026 is a growth year for us. So my job right now is to simultaneously figure out how to get everybody's feet under them where everybody's feeling really confident and successful. And then what's next, right? So like the strategy mindset still has to be working at the same time. And that's why I say it's not less work to do leadership. It's very different work, because when you're strategizing, there's no way it's going to be checking off a list. It's building a list.
You're building more of a list.
Right.
Yeah. Building way more of a list and getting uncomfortable, I think, is a big thing too, that you put yourself in. Like you feel like you're getting stretched again to be uncomfortable. And then, okay, how do we keep going back to this strategy? Okay, now, now we need to add this to the list because we just had this happen. Or I think that's something that we're going to start experiencing again, is where now with new team members joining, is like, we're kind of feeling it this week just because of getting everybody onboarded. But it's like, okay, now after this stretch and like this growth, and if this continues the way that we see this happening, we're going to be in this stage for a while. And like, now we have to get comfortable with this, and we have
comfortable with uncomfortable.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah,
we're gonna at the moment we don't have a choice, so which is great.
I don't know if everybody has seen the reel of there's like this trending reel right now for business owners, and it's like, yeah, I would never go back to my 9 to 5 and replace working 140 hours a week.
40 hours a week.
Like, it's true in a way, because it's like, yeah, I work nonstop, but I would never choose to go back to a 9 to 5. You know, there's just
the fulfillment too.
Yeah, it's a level of fulfillment. It's a level of ownership, and I think a lot of people will feel like it's like not reporting to someone, you know, and getting to make these big strategic decisions for yourself and your own business. It's like, okay, so the very thing that's making us uncomfortable is why we want to stay in this, you know? And maybe it's because you yourself have experienced workplaces where you didn't agree with the strategy and you didn't have a say in it, or people that do work corporate 9 to 5s, they experience burnout too, just in very different ways.
And some people love that, and that's great. You know, that I think that's like a big thing too. Like with us, you know, we have said, you know, when people go from W-2 to 1099, I feel like people don't understand that like shift of like the working hour, because we've experienced it, and we know that with, you know, some team members who have been here or anything, is that when you're W-2, you know, you get your bathroom breaks and you get your coffee breaks and you get your, oh shoot, I just spent 30 minutes talking to my coworker about this and we went off on a tangent. But when you're 1099, you are clocked in with being remote, you don't have that person to spend 30 minutes chit chatting with. And not even that, you're getting the work done for your client. So when you are working your exact time and that, so you have that more, I do think it's more fulfilling on our end, because you get that work done and you see the progress and everything that happens. And I think too, that's like the hard part, where people are like, wait a minute, but why do you like doing that? Why are you so comfortable in this? And I'm like, this is what I like doing. This is, I'm fulfilled doing this, and I really enjoy it. And I still have a team that if I have an issue or I have a problem, I could call them and we could work on a Google Meet, and we could co-work our own space.
That's right.
So
we do nighttime meetings, nighttime Google Meet. Yes.
Yeah, we do. But
yeah,
and I think that works.
Yeah. So for leaders, I think the goal from moving away from the tactical side of proximity-based leadership and moving into strategic leadership, it's very process oriented, and don't expect that process to turn overnight. You know, I actually was meeting with a business owner yesterday, and she was telling me, like, she was like, I've hired X amount of people and none of them have worked out before. And I'm like, tell me about that. Like, why haven't they worked out? What are they doing for you? What's their responsibility? And she was like, well, she had been referred to us, had, heard from another client of ours what we have done in their business. And the people that she had been hiring, I'm not going to, they're virtual assistants, and virtual assistants are normally very, very tactical workers, versus strategists alongside the business owner. I'm not going to make a, executive statement here that every virtual assistant is that way, because that's certainly not the case. But there are very tactical workers. And one thing that she experienced in interviews leading up to these X amount of people she had hired was, I need somebody to do X, Y, and Z. And they're, yes, I can do it. Yes. And the reality is like, no one person is great at everything your business needs, right? And so like, that's even why Iris is structured the way we're structured, of like, we operate in operations and we operate in the marketing vertical. And we have team members who have skill sets at varying degrees in both verticals, because like, we need to own what we're good at and what we're not good at. There are team members that we have at Iris that are not going to be our website designers, but they are amazing social media managers, or they're amazing copywriters. That's their strength. And our job is to match them to the right client and responsibility accordingly, so everybody's succeeding together. So when I'm meeting with this business owner yesterday, and she's telling me that I've delegated down these tasks, but what I'm really feeling is they don't know my business. They can't find the gaps and inefficiencies for me and alleviate my mindset that way. Understood. You've just been giving them tasks. What you really need is somebody to come in and spend time immersing themselves in your business and in the industry. Because without that knowledge of what lives in this owner's brain, like everything lives in her brain and nobody else's brain, it takes time to build up that level of awareness of the business and the industry that you're selling in order to be able to say, here's where I'm seeing some gaps and inefficiencies. Here's an idea. What do you think about this idea? And then you start brainstorming together, and building ideas together, and building the business further out together, So I think the problems that you're feeling and the strain that you're feeling on your own time being a proximity-based leader, you need to know what you're looking for so you can figure out who you're looking for.
Yeah. And sometimes business owners forget that it's not, yes, a lot of us in Iris try to do multiple hats at the same time. But most business owners of small business, they need to understand that, yes, you can hire one person, but that person is not going to be perfect at every single thing that you need. You need a group of people. And sometimes that's what I love about Iris, is because you hire Iris. Yes, you have one consultant that it's always with you on every single meeting, and in your business, but you have behind that consultant, you have a group of people with a numerous amount of different skill sets. And we help each other out. If I need, hey, Krista, I need to manage accounting. I am really bad at accounting. I really don't want to work accounting ever in my life. Yes, we do have somebody that likes accounting, and that person works along the sideway with us. And business owners need to understand that just because you want to save a little bit of money, and it's understandable, because we don't want to break the bank of any business owner. But at the same time, you cannot have one person have 20 hats on your business.
No, just like you shouldn't be wearing 20 hats. It's the same thing we're taught, like this invisible badge of honor of doing it all yourself, or this invisible badge of honor of you and one other person doing it all yourself. There's so many facets to running a business. What I would encourage business owners to do is really assess, what do you enjoy? Because you should stay in what you enjoy. That's going to keep your passion fulfilled on the hard days where you're taking it on the chin, right? And then what are you good at? What are you not good at? Okay, what does that mean you need to hire? I'm going to go ahead and guess there are some exceptions. but most of the times your operational strategists are not your marketing managers. You know, they might have really, in fact, they will have really good ideas being in the operations and sales side to talk about and work through with your marketing manager, which will elevate the marketing manager's work, and the marketing manager's insights will elevate the operational strategist's work, you know. But if one person is doing it all, the second question I would have business owners ask themselves is, what is their capacity? Because again, we're trying to hire people that are better than us at something, and hopefully you're leaving some capacity for them so that they can bring ideas to your business that elevate your business because they're better at it than you, right? And so when we're just filling the owner's time, filling our one right-hand person's time with just task after task after task that needs to get done, there is no room for strategizing what's next for your business. And inevitably, that's going to lead you to a point where you stare at your business and think, okay, now I'm feeling stuck. Like I'm not experiencing the momentum that I want to feel. I'm not experiencing the growth that I want to feel. So what do I need to shift to do that? If I had to assume, I would assume, looking at a business, that means the founder needs to continue to step away even further, build more processes out to trust your team, and begin strategizing the next steps for your business. You are the only person that can strategize the next steps for your business.
And what you're comfortable with and what you want to see grow and happen, and all the things that you've envisioned to make sure that they're in the correct place.
Mm-hmm.
And then ask questions. And then go to your team and say, hey, I came up with an idea. Any problems here that we can think of that as I'm putting this out? Like, I think that's one thing that, like, you're really good at, Krista, is like when we have our management call is like, hey, I've thought about this. What if, would this work? And then we all kind of like have an input, or this side of things, like, you know, especially when it came to that hiring, you were like, hey, we got to do this. And I was like, okay, I'm here, but I can't do that. And you're like, that's okay. I have this idea. What if I do this part? So I think that's like where I think founders do kind of get stuck, because it's almost like, okay, yes, I have the strategy. And if you don't have anybody hired yet, okay, then that does obviously all fall on you no matter what. But if you do have people that are under you, it's okay to just ask an opinion. Because I feel like sometimes too, founders are like, well, I didn't want to bother you with that.
Oh no, and we're biased as all heck, you know?
Yeah, like
I mean, I'm gonna sit here and be like, Iris is the best thing that ever happened in this world, you know, because I'm biased. I've put in however long into the business, and you know, it's so easy for a founder to be like, well, if my business doesn't work for you, that's fine, because it doesn't have to work for you. It works for me. But in reality, there's something to be learned from everything, you know? And so there's a humbleness that needs to happen when you step back into leadership based owner, where you can really assess what is working and what is not working in the business. That's like the number one thing I think you need to identify, is where are your gaps and inefficiencies, and hopefully you have a team member that you can bounce these ideas off of, because that is, I mean, when we meet weekly, normally I'm coming into those meetings saying, give me updates on X, Y, and Z. Okay, now I've got this idea, or this is coming down the pipeline, and this is my idea on how to manage it. What are your thoughts? And between the four of us, we are trying to proactively identify risk and gaps so that we can adjust accordingly and make sure that the strategy unfolds how we want it to, right? I'm also a huge control freak. So, I mean, I think I'm always like trying to control the outcome. And again, there's a level of like leadership you have to step into where it's like, I can't control this. I can just, we do the best we can with who and what we have, you know? So there's a balance. And I wish I could come out of this call today and say, if you are feeling the weight on your shoulders, you're working 140-hour weeks and you're staying up well past bedtime, here's exactly what you need to do to move to leadership-based ownership rather than proximity-based, you know?
If you did, we wouldn't be here with Iris.
Exactly. That's right.
You'd be traveling the country selling this.
Yeah, exactly. Right? I would be. Yeah.
You would be.
There's a course of stuff. And there are. With that said, there are great business coaches out there. The one thing I would advise to business owners is business coaches speak on what worked really well for their business, similar to what we're doing right now. We're talking about what has worked and what hasn't worked for Iris, and that's, you know, coaching through our experience. But you have to take the nuggets of knowledge and apply it to your business that makes sense. And normally, if you're feeling that weight of 140-hour work week, step one, you probably need to hire somebody. Like, let's just go ahead and call it what it is. Let's take off the invisible badge of honor, because it's time to have a team under you. And before you do that hiring, be very, very clear on what their responsibilities and what success looks like in this role. Because when they step into the role, you want to be able to hand the work to them and say, here's my expectation. Here's the process I want us to start with. And this is what I'm going to start doing to move away from owning this responsibility. And along the way, you know, I would say in the first 30, 60, 90 days, you will start to work with this team member on what's working, what's not working in that process. Advise them, and it will continue to elevate their work and responsibilities as well. And that process right there has to continually be repeated. Like, I'm going to hire, I'm going to delegate. This is the process I'm comfortable with. Now let's evolve and elevate this process. Okay, now that's good, and my hands are out of it. What's next? How am I feeling now? And you should be consistently moving out of the tasking for your business and into the strategic oversight for it.
And depending too, like on business sizes, like with some of the clients that we work with, you know, there are business owners that I think will always be in a certain part of the business, you know, just depending on what they're in. Like they, you know, might have to be that on the call with like certain clients and things like that forever, because they are the one that is that, I always call them SMEs, which is subject matter experts, but then they can delegate the task down after that. So I do think, like, obviously it depends on every size business, everything like that, but you still need to pull yourself out of every single task, because you just can't do it all. You can't. Mm-hmm. And you don't want to keep constantly putting that pressure on yourself day in, day out, because I looked at that statistic, Krista, by the way, because I really wanted to know this. So it is nearly 20% of new ventures don't make it past their first year. And over 2 decades, 1 in 5 survive.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
It is crazy.
We're going to survive. I'm just saying. We're going to survive. Just putting it out there.
It's
it is burnout.
It's burnout. Yeah, that's exactly where I was leading with this. It's like, it's normally not that the business isn't capable of surviving. It's that the founder just gets burned out from running their own business and misses I reported to somebody and I clocked in, clocked out, and was able to go home and enjoy time with my family, you know? And I think, again, it's a similar conversation of like, not every person was designed to be a leader. Not every person was designed to be an individual contributor. Not every person was designed to work corporate. Not every person was designed to be an entrepreneur. You know, there are a reason that there are serial entrepreneurs in the world. And I would even venture to say, I think that there's a reason that a strong amount of entrepreneurs that do last are normally neurodivergent in some way, because they are very good at being visionaries. Like they come up with so much to do and so many ways to expand and elevate their business because they're visionaries. That's what a neurodivergent brain is really good at, you know? So I think the ultimate question as a founder, especially if you are a proximity-based founder, is, are you reaching the stage where your being the proximity is effectively hindering the scaling of your business? Because if you are the bottleneck, if you are the reason that you're not scaling, it's time to make some adjustments, because no level of ambition can overcome that. There are only so many hours in a day, and whether we want to admit it or not, we have to sleep. So you need to sleep, or you can be like me and fall asleep on your laptop. So, with your face down in your keyboard. But the challenge here is to identify it and then create and evolve an operational structure that can support that growth. As you continue to delegate more functions of your business down, more tactical work of your business down, your time will be consumed with strategic evolution for your business, as well as check-in points. I will never tell you to delegate work down and never talk to that team member again, or never check in on their work. We as a management team, we check in weekly. I think that works well for us right now, but our consultant team as well has to be checked in with weekly, and that takes time. So there's a level of comfort that has to be accepted, that my role is not checking off the tasks anymore. It's coaching and evolving my team members, coaching and evolving my processes, and then strategizing what's next for my business.
Yeah, and it's about, I would say, owners need to take the risk and take the chance when they hire people. If you're hiring somebody to do something that they're better at than you are, you have to take that risk of just letting them do the work and then come back when it's done to revise. Mm-hmm. If you don't take the risk, you're never getting out of that place of everything falls into you.
Right.
So you need to take that risk to build the trust with your team.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Shameless plug. This is kind of what Iris is good at. So if we have a founder listening in, I would say there are certain things that we like to own that we're really good at. That's operations, and that is marketing. And there's a lot of tactical work, and there's a lot of functions within those two verticals that can happen. But I would also encourage business owners to consider two things: one, their budget, and two, their expectations. It's a hard balance and a hard line to waddle of, can my budget really afford this, and what's the ROI of bringing on a team member, because it will come to fruition, because it allows you to step into what's next for you in your position. But the second thing is, what are your expectations? Because contracting a company like Iris is very different than having a W-2 employee. So I think a lot of business owners want to 1099 a freelancer or subcontract a company, because normally it's a little softer on the books. And it should be, because expectations are different. But this is a common conversation we have in consultations of, what's your expectation for the person working alongside you, to make sure that they feel successful in the partnership. And so as you prepare to hire somebody to step into strategic leadership, really think about what you're looking for from that person and what will be successful for them and for you, because that will carry you through to the next step of strategy.
And just making sure too that you're giving the time for the acclimation. That's a big thing too.
Mm-hmm. Just making sure. Yeah, nobody's going to come in on day one and know everything that lives in your brain.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is fun. We're almost
a good one.
This was a good one.
This was a good timing. This was perfect timing. Love it.
It is and it isn't. I mean, it's great timing because, man, can we talk about it right now? But it isn't because, like, we're in the weeds with you. We're doing exactly what we've talked about today. We're literally in the thick of strategizing, getting feet under us, acclimations, and at the same time, I'm looking at what's next for Iris. So
this is fresh out of the oven because it's still hot. It's even hot yet.
Still hot. I love it. Yep.
So true. All right. Well, we'll be back next month, and we hope to see you there. Thanks for joining in.
Bye.
Bye.